We need a house with 2 bathrooms, or there's going to be an angry forest fairy.
Ring, 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 hero.
Toss a coin.
So fucking annoying. Hero seems...
To your witcher.
And virgins?
Oh, valley of plenty.
I'm not doing this.
She's quit. She's down and out. You can't sing no Witcher songs around here or else she's not gonna be having none of this. Anyways, welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. It is a nice little Wednesday over here from Helsinki, Finland, and there are some very important things going on right now as we do have a big day ahead of us. The Mr. Jerome Powell getting on the good old telephone soon enough, and well, maybe not telephone, but TV. It's what I mean to say. And I expect that markets will be moving around that time. In fact, we're kind of seeing the move that I would have liked to have seen after that sort of an event in the last 12 to 20-ish or so hours since we last spoke. So with that in mind, that is going to throw a little bit of a spanner in the works for, a little bit of spanner in the works in the sense that this would have been a lot easier had Bitcoin stayed in the prior range and then led this move with a breakout into an event like that. That would have been a lot more confidence inducing. But for right now, we do need to kind of go back a little bit in and kind of draw up exactly where the validations are for moves that we are looking for based upon an event like this. Anyways, with that in mind, I do see a shit ton of people in here right now. What's up, Mr. Lawyer Tom? Are you an actual lawyer from Texas? Nice. What's up, man? I hear that Texas is probably one of the better states in America right now, or so I hear. Anyways, Frig Diggler, good morning to you as well. Tony Begg, how you doing, brother? Dub Dogstep, there he is. Holy shit, that beautiful fucking name, man. Krown, call that Nazi Jerome. Tell him to pump this market. Yes, we need a little bit of pump action indeed. I see Dr. Kim. I see Kelly Gallagher. I see RN. He's looking for Cardano, sir. Are you sure about that? And I see Don Cardano. Holy shit. It's you with the laser eyes as well. Good morning to everyone out there. I think we got Nikki Page for our moderators going on. And who else do we have as well? I see Sean Waller. I see Gohan's mom. I see... Who else? Who else do I see around here? Rocky G and Dodgimon. There they are. Nimbo. Hey, what's up, Nimbo? Reef Keepers as well. Adam Smagoda. Hopefully I said that properly right there. And let's go, Brandon. Oh, dear Lord. We're getting political today, I suppose. Anyways, in MTMD, man, it's good to see your face here, man. Eric Nugent, what's up, brother? Holy shit, man. There is actually quite a few people here for a what I was thinking was going to be a bit more of a quieter Sunday. Or sorry, not Sunday, Wednesday right now. Got 1,100 people watching, 350 likes on the video. We're trending up, baby. We're trending up. We're having a little bit of a market rebound right here, of which there are several things kind of pointing towards that. So I actually tweeted out one of them this morning right before the stream. Of course, that this is a good portion or a good point for me to let everyone know here that if you are interested in any one of my socials, they are in the link descriptions below. The biggest reason why I have them there is because there's a shit ton of unfortunate scammer impersonators who are having the same names as me on Twitter, on Instagram, and even making up accounts for me on Telegram, which I don't even operate there really, and going out of their way to DM people, telling them about some sort of like secret investment or, you know, download this bullshit over here, whatever the hell it is. Hey, look, it's probably a scam. I strongly suggest you avoid something like that because it's probably going to end in tears, unfortunately. Anyways, I'm just wasting time right now because I'm trying to drink the rest of my coffee before we get into this one. And I see a lot of people saying the bottom is in. Fair enough. That is an opinion. I'm not necessarily, I don't think I would agree with that just yet. I do think that there's some really, really good indications that Bitcoin's going to initiate the bounce that we've been looking for about on this day. It started a little bit earlier than what I was kind of anticipating, about 12 hours earlier, but that's okay. That's why we have our major areas kind of pointed out and what's it called, and ready in advance. That's the whole preparation. That's the whole point of fucking doing your homework in this game. Anyways, I need to take a sippy sip of this. Drink slow, says Neil Uranho. Well, there we go. Got one more sippy sip left right there. I see some people also saying that this is about to dump off exactly right now. Fair enough. So it looks like we got a pretty split opinion, and I get that feeling around the social media sphere, definitely, where there are a contingency of people who are very, very hard nosed in saying that Bitcoin goes down from here to, you know, 20,000, 25,000, whatever it might be, and then there's a contingent of people who are very adamant and say that the bottom is already in. I'm a part of neither of those, although I do think that short term the upside probably does continue a little bit more. But again, today's event really going to supersede a lot of the things I'm going to say. So the problem with this is, or sorry, the more, what's it called? The more delicate nature of this is that I really need to prepare for that event rather than the price action right now, because things will move. Things will get rather nasty, I do suspect. I'm going to turn off the alerts for right now. I do appreciate them, of course. What's up, Mr. Brooke Diamond? But we'll get to them after the early morning ceremonies as usual. I see a lot of shitcoin chilling as always, man. People just love their shitcoins. I think if there's one thing that I am very confident on is that the majority of shitcoins are going to not be having the best of times in this next 6 months of price action right here, at least versus their Bitcoin pairing in general. Of course, there's going to be a few legitimate ones, the quality as they do say, but for the most part, I do think that we're going to witness the next extinction event for many of the altcoins right here. Anyways, it's Australia Day. It's fucking Australia Day. What does that even mean? I don't know. It's Australia Day. It's another day for Australia. Beautiful, man. Happy Australia Day to all the people celebrating out there. I'm happy for you, man. Don't know what the hell that means, but hey, more good on you. And hopefully it's a nice little pleasurable day for yourself while I finish this coffee and then we get right into the content of today. I see Amsterdam from Mr. Rolf. I actually really like Amsterdam, man. It's a pretty cool place. Lived there for a little bit of time not a few years ago. Jesus Christ, man, that's like 7 or 8 years ago now. Oh my God, man, I'm getting old as fuck. Gray hairs everywhere, brother. All right, cool. Krown is bearish, says Cumsy. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm not bearish in the short term. No. Anyways, all right, I need to focus down now. Here we go into Bitcoin, as always, starting off with the king, the one coin to rule them all. And I really do feel like that is going to become a lot more important in these next few months to come as Bitcoin does kind of generally get the market direction proper here. And if Bitcoin does continue on with the overall long-term dump-off party, well, I would expect that altcoins continue to give up a lot of their market cap into Bitcoin, as represented by the Bitcoin dominance right here. I do not necessarily love Bitcoin dominance as an overall metric, but we are starting to see it really put in a base at that 40%. So I do think that altcoin versus Bitcoins in general, for especially the weaker ones, which is 95% of them, are probably not going to be having the best time with that. Anyways, Fear Ingredient Index also at a 12 right now as well. Even with Bitcoin taking out the short-term, medium-term time frame range highs, which is good and does allow for that next move up, but today is a very, 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 very critical day because it is Jay Powell day. It is Jay fucking Powell day. He's gonna speak again, kind of let his thoughts be known, and the FOMC coming in a little bit later today as well. I believe it's around 1, if memory serves me correctly, it's 1 or 2 p.m. I believe it's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or it's 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do remember when I used to be in Chicago, yeah, it was I'm very confident it was 1 p.m. So fair enough, be aware of that event, because going into that event, around the time of that event for the next like 15 to 30 minutes, you're probably going to see an extreme amount of volatility in both directions. And there's probably going to be some very easy trades on the peripheries of those moves. So that's what I really want to be focusing on today, and then talk about what actually matters when price action settles for the higher term time frame closures and how that can kind of bleed into the analysis for the next likely 5 to 10 days to come. Anyways, with that in mind, we're actually going to come back here into the Krown trading application a little bit later. What I want to do right here is start off immediately with the with price action charts. So I want to follow up on yesterday's short-term time frame analysis. We actually did see a break above the top side of yesterday's short-term time frame range, that being $37,000 on a 4-hour closure. Beautiful, and Bitcoin does initiate the next short-term move to the upside. That's your $38,000 to $38,500 target. Although I would be looking for this again to very likely find its way somewhere around this blue box territory right here. Elsa's sign in the background, she's having a difficult morning, but that's okay. Toss a coin to your Witcher and it'll be all right. Anyways, looking at this right now, there's very likely going to be pullbacks along the way. But here's the thing. When you do have a move like this coming into an event like today, I don't really trust it all that much. And I would say that what's even more important right here is going to be the invalidation of this, of this as a particular setup. Because, most people are probably looking at something relatively similar to this. And what would essentially invalidate this? This would be probably reasonable to do on an hourly. On an hourly, I would say a closure below about 36,300 would do it for me, or a 4-hour closure just below the breakout point, which would be about just below $37,000 would likely do it for me as well. And if that does happen, I'd be looking for Bitcoin to once again explore around its current lows. I would not call a continuation to new lows, however, just yet, or like immediately in this case. I'd just be looking for a move somewhere down around about $33,500 to $34,000 base. Very likely another bounce there, and then come back and reanalyze it. I do not think it would be wise to be doing anything more than that. And what I want to check out over here on our daily time frame is once again this. Yes, the daily jewel light has lost its downside curvature, and when it turns white, we do look at that as a as a good indication of a loss of momentum plus volatility on, in this case, the downside move. With it now pointed up, obviously you're gonna have a chance to get you're gonna have a chance to get an upside signal. Problem with this one is that when you look at this in terms of volatility, which right now volatility is around the highs, about 90 percentile or so, which is, getting to extremes. The last time we saw it somewhere around this was actually in December, and then of course before that was our October, I believe, highs in that case right there, and then before that was the July bear trap right here. Again, volatility is direction neutral, so we've seen that both come to the upside and the downside. In this case, to the downside, that probably doesn't have too much more to go. So this is still very likely a corrective move. So whilst I do think that Bitcoin could have a very easy chance to continue on with the rally here, maybe even towards $40,000 or so, overall, I do look at this as a corrective rally off of the downside moves until one of the more critical regions is taken out to the upside, specifically for the long term. Until that happens, which we'll go over that number exactly in a second here, but until that happens, very important. It is difficult to be looking at this asset as, well, long-term bullish in this case. I mean, it is consolidating. I wouldn't say it's consolidation at best, but it is at best trading sideways in a massive range between about 30,000 and about 60,000 bucks. And at worst, we are seeing, we are seeing a long-term distribution start to emerge. Anyways, what would that level be? Well, your first major area would of course be the $44,000 lower high that we did see in January earlier this month. That would be the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement right here as well. Again, $44,000. That is not the big one, however, because typically speaking, when we are within the midst of a potential trend reversal, which is happening on the weekly right here, we do have a lower low on the weekly compared to the September lower low right here. We do not have a lower high just yet. So in this case, while the daily can very easily play out a rally, maybe over the next couple of weeks here, it would be pertinent to be aware that the weekly putting in a lower high anywhere below, basically about $55,000 or so, would be that confirmation of a weekly trend shift. And if we do have a weekly trend shift confirmation, then all weekly trend changes in Bitcoin land have correlated perfectly to the macro direction since the dawn of time. Yes, at some point this will not work out, but if this does have a 12 or 13 year great history of working out, I'm going to go with that until proven otherwise. So where would that level be essentially from this perspective? Well, if we do throw back on our drawing tools, you can see that I've done a nice little Fibonacci retracement right here. And traditionally speaking, you do expect those lower highs in a bull trap scenario somewhere between the 0.5 and the 618. So that would be between about $44,000 and $48,500. So I want to have that in the back of my mind's eye here because that can very easily set up Bitcoin, for one of these LARP line rallies right here. But if you see weakness within this region, and then Bitcoin turns down something like this, and then most importantly cracks back down below the 382 right here at $40,000 even, that's going to be your big confirmation, or at least I wouldn't say your, because I can't speak for you, but for myself as a long-term, or if I'm looking at this from a long-term perspective, I look at that as confirmation of, okay, this is incredibly bearish long-term. We're very likely going to see at best a range between about $45,000 and $30,000 for 6 months, and then very likely break down somewhere around, obviously $30,000 is a major area, but more importantly, $25,000 does become a more reasonable target at that point, somewhere between about $22,000 to $25,000, which is where I actually do think is the worst case scenario for Bitcoin at this point in time. The hopium, however, is that after a move like this, you do sit in a higher low anywhere above $40,000 and do something like that. That would be your confirmation, or at least my confirmation of Bula markets back on. I don't think that happens anytime soon. This move would theoretically happen over, I think, at minimum the next 3 months, or sorry, not even 3 months, like 5 months into at the end of Q2 of this year. I do think it's the kind of earliest that you'd see something like this happen. Anyways, with that in mind, I do want to bring up a few points of hopium right here, following up on the last few weeks of analysis. We are starting to see once again the 5-day stochastic momentum, which actually just closed last night. So we got a new dildo today, and that will actually close and turn up in the next 5 days. So not today. If we see any sort of a 5-day closure above 35,300. Daily has also freshly turned up for the first time since the last rally attempt in early January, that is, and that will be remaining with upside momentum as long as Bitcoin is closing above 34,713. Buy daily is also about to cross up as well above 37,250. So all higher term timeframes starting to work in unison with each other. The weekly is not quite there just yet. Obviously, we just got a new one in the last 48 or about 36 hours or so, and that will be turning up with any sort of a weekly closure above $45,000 $45,000. So if we do start to see all these things turn around the same time over these next, let's say 2 weeks, I'd say about 2 weeks, that would be a really good indication that this is still a beacon of hopium in the future. But for right now, I do want to also, focus on the very high term timeframes in this case. Up to now, we've only spoke up to a weekly. Here's what does make me concerned, and here's what does make me consider that the downside is still actually a little bit more likely long term. So we're really divorcing this analysis now from the short term, which, could very easily extend this bounce to some pretty impressive targets, 39, somewhere between $39,000 and $40,000. Quite easily wouldn't, really make all that much of a difference actually for the long term of this. But if we go over here to the monthly, you'll notice that the monthly stochastic momentum will turn down officially with any sort of a closure, not today, but at the end of this month, which is we're at the 26th of January right now. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days left of trading in this month. Technically, it's going to be like 5.5 because it does close a little bit before that. Anyways, in this case, we will see stochastic momentum turn to the downside below 53,520. What's also important about this is that you will also be losing the bullish control zone in this case, which the last time we saw some similar to this was, even just downside from this region was back on over here in March 2018. That sounds familiar. Well, maybe not for everyone, but certainly for myself, way back on over here on the essential bull trap from the 2018 cycle. The time before that was way back on over here, actually, February of 2014. Again, the bull trap of the 2014 cycle, essentially. We can even take that a couple more steps further as well if we go over here into this chart. On the monthly on the monthly charts right here, you will notice that monthly MACD is about to cross to the downside. Again, same time frame closure as we just spoke about on the monthly stochastic momentum, and it will officially cross the downside with any sort of a closure this month below 40,750. Very, very important number right there. We've seen this only happen 1, 2, 3 times in the past, of which all of them have been some pretty catastrophic moves to the downside. The last one, funnily enough, or maybe not funnily enough for a lot of people out there, is going to be, of course, actually right here. Sorry, my line is a little bit off, but that would be a couple months before the flu dump that we saw in March 2020. The time before that was, of course, right here in June 2018. Again, coming off the white 20 simple, but over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, there's your next 50% dumper all the way down to the green 55. And then, of course, the time before that was way back on over here in 2014, August. Again, same thing, coming off the white 20 simple and, bounced around for a couple months and then all the way down to the green 55 yet again. And we have a very similar setup going on over here now, don't we? We see Bitcoin is bouncing off the 20 simple. Okay, there's, this bounce can take us, we're talking about big numbers here. This bounce can easily take us like $10,000 or so. But assuming that this does get confirmed, I would say that that is a good cause for concern over the long term, as well as the PMAR signal over here as well. You can see that this one has lost the moving average on this signal once, twice, and now working on thrice. In the 12 or 13 year history of Bitcoin right here, and those have all been accompanied with the same signals on the MACD. Now, it doesn't have as many iterations as the MACD signal does have, but the two prior to the one that we're looking at right now do have the same sort of indication, do correlate with the same areas on this breakdown right here and this breakdown right here, of course, and also this one right here actually just freshly happening. So I do think that that is a bit more long-term cause for concern, but again, that does not mean that Bitcoin can't rally up even into the end of this month. Damn it, I'm just drawing damn lines over here. Let me get rid of the LARP lines as well. But basically, motherfucker, I just got rid of the one that I actually want there. There we go. All right, apologies on that. Let's get rid of this one right here. Boom. And I'll get rid of this one right here as well. So basically, the way that I want to kind of now bring this back into normality for the more shorter term timeframes is to go back on over here into the short term timeframes like the 4 hour. And what do we see? We actually see Bitcoin catching a little bit of a sell action right there, which is not great for the short term, obviously. And this is why I really want to stay away from the short term timeframes leading into an event like this, because ranges and whatnot, resolutions are probably going to be a bit, a bit shaky and probably going to be more trappy than anything else. And in this case, with Bitcoin moving to the upside first ahead of an announcement like this, I typically don't like something like that, to be honest with you. I actually look at that as typically a bad thing. I would not say that that is a verifiable statement. I would say that this becomes a lot more compelling when Bitcoin, or if and when Bitcoin does close a 4 hour dodo just below the breakout point from, I guess this was earlier today or I guess late yesterday, whatever it was, like right around here, just below $37,000 would do it for me on a 4 hour closure, or an hourly below. I think it was more like 36 actually. I'd say more like 37 6. If one of those two things happens, I'd be looking for Bitcoin to once again explore somewhere around the low side of our closing bases from the last few days here, somewhere between about $33,500 to $34,000. Until then, I would actually, I can't advise anything, obviously. Like, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but I can tell you what I'm doing in this case. I am, very much avoiding trading until we see the result of this event a little bit later today, because at the end of the day, it would be essentially gambling in the way that I look at things. Because why? Well, it's quite simple, because I don't know what the fuck they're going to do, and there's absolutely no way to know what they're going to do or say. And in this case, if we are just going off a straight technical analysis, there actually are several good things right now to say that this a bit of a mean reversion trade right here on momentum is starting to end on the short-term timeframes, like the 4-hour. You can see that 4-hour stochastic momentum will actually turn down officially below 36,320. I think bi-hourly is already turning down. Let's just double check. Yeah, it is turning down right now below 37,300, which you're actually trading above right now. So, these criteria have not been met. They're just present and I think relevant for the time being. And the hourly will also turn down below 37,250 as well. Again, so kind of balancing it out, very short-term timeframes, looking a little bit more like, momentum's going to come into play here. The medium and higher term timeframes, still do suggest that if Bitcoin does come back down to the current base lows, probably get another big bounce somewhere right around there, and maybe sets it up for the next couple of weeks of price action to come. And then the real question is, where do the monthlies settle? Because right now the monthly settling basically, especially below $40,000, is going to be rather concerning for the long term. Again, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin can't rally up to about $44,000, maybe even $48,000, but I'd essentially be looking at those areas as major, at least for myself, they would be major sell areas for potentially even long-term trades. Anyways, going off of it right here, to kind of round out why I do think that Bitcoin $25,000 is, probably worst case scenario in this one. Green 55 exponential average on the monthly is typically where we do see our long-term macro corrections down towards. You can get closures around there, but anywhere around there's, typically fair game or at least a good value play. For like the macro, when I'm talking about macro, I mean like years essentially. And in this case, that's crawling its way up just above, just around about $22,500 right now. Obviously, that's going to change in the next few months as it does get dragged up and up. So the longer that Bitcoin holds sideways here between about 60 and 30, the more and more naturally that'll get dragged up. Of course, it should also be known that the weekly 200 simple is kind of crawling its way up as well in the same vicinity of that. And for right now, we did close the 5-day yesterday, and this does look like Bitcoin actually finally got a little bit of a reprieve right there. So I'm curious to see if there's anything else that I'm missing right now. Yeah, I did miss this 5-day Jewel Light is going to it's actually still remaining with its downside slope and its downside momentum and volatility as well. So I'd actually say that is somewhat concerning. However, we can see from a historical perspective, when it gets into this range right here, which actually does have a little bit lower to go, to be fair, from a historical perspective, it really doesn't stay down there for too long. We really only have 1, 2, 3 iterations of it even being around this low. One of them was January 2019. That was your 3100 cycle, 3100 macro cycle lows, actually. The time before that was October 2014. That, I believe, was, let's just double check. I want to ensure that I'm talking about the right thing. Yeah, this was actually a bull trap right here, to be fair. This was actually a bull trap right here. And the time before that was actually this intra-cycle correction. I wouldn't say correction, crash is the right terminology, in July 2013, before going from about $69, great number, all the way up to almost $1,400. It looks like 1337, which is LEET. It's gamer speak for LEET. Anyways, okay, I think I've spoken your head off on this right now. 17 minutes into this one. I do want to now swing back around to the Krown trading application. I want to also show you, before I show you that, let's talk about the global open interest. I think this is perhaps the most important indicator, honestly. It's the one indicator that has been consistently saying, hey, look, this asset is cautious at best and downside is more likely than upside, until we do see essentially this chart reset, which I think that we're in the midst of doing right now, or in the context of like the last 2.5 months, but it can take longer, is my point. Anyways, I won't go through the whole rigmarole on this one. You can always check out the long-term analysis video that I put out on Sunday, which I do every Sunday. That will go over these sort of topics, but basically anytime that we've seen open interest get above 13 billion, it's led to a 20 to 25% correction correction minimum, and at maximum we've seen, like 50% correction. Anyways, just call it this area right here, this area right here. Obviously that's March and April, both, humongous moves to the downside. September, and more recently at the all-time highs in November, and then of course also getting above there almost towards 14 billion in December, late December, that is, early January. So I do think that this is resetting yet again. Obviously we've already kind of seen about, I believe, a 20% move. Yeah, we've certainly seen a 20% move from that failed high right here, down to kind of where we're at right now. Yeah, 25% move right there. So, does Bitcoin set up for a bit of an interim balance here, but continue on with a long-term downtrend, because Bitcoin does certainly have that, especially as long as we're below $44,000 by golly. But in this case right here, the lower the better, essentially. And while I don't actually have a good idea or any real way to really nail down like a specific number here, I would say, or at least I would think intuitively, so understand where I'm kind of deriving this from and then make your own conclusions with this, because there's no way for me to know. But basically I would consider a reset if we do see open interest essentially settle somewhere between the summer lows at about 5.5 billion and our September lows right here at about 8.5 billion, that is. So anywhere between those two numbers I do think is probably where you find the macro major bottom in that case. But for right now, you can very easily see that it's already at 10.25 billion, or a little bit above there, and actually rising as of this moment. So to me, this looks, or not to me, this is validated right here. It looks like, or it would appear that people are putting on leverage positions, probably long in this case, seen as futures are trading above spot right now on the old 100x exchanges. By the way, check out Bybit link. Go get wrecked over there. It's beautiful. Just kidding. Don't fucking do that. Anyway, terrible thing to be saying. But overall, it does look like people are leveraging long into an event like this today. That's usually not the best way to start your long-term macro reversals, in my experience. On top of that, I do want to call out another thing that is a little bit more on the bullish side. That would be the funny rates right here. You can see that it's actually negative 0.01%. So this is the lowest that we've seen it on this read for the last month, I think. Yeah, for the last month or so. If we go down to an hourly data feed, it's actually significantly lower than that on the global scale, negative 0.016%. So it is still likely, in my opinion, a little bit more likely that Bitcoin does move to the upside here, wash out the over leveraged and too aggressive shorts, the late shorters, and then deal with the long, spank them a little bit as well. Keep in mind as well here that the leverage ratio is to the moon and beyond. So that's always a great sign, but we do kind of expect it to be higher over time. Just in that case, fucking high, man, super fucking high. So what I've done over here on the notifications is I've actually gone into the Krown trading application. Again, you can find this all for free in the link in the description below. And I've actually set some alerts here, which is going to be absolutely pertinent to my own trading and analysis. But basically, I have an open interest alert for under 9 billion, and then I also want to have one for under about 7.5 billion as well, and save that. Thank you very much. Hey, that's not what no, that's not what I meant to do. Hold on, for some reason that didn't. Actually, hey, god damn it, motherfucker! I just done goofed right there. Jesus Christ, man, I can't even figure out my own shit. Apologies on that, but I do want to set this right here, right now. I'm just going to do below 8. How about that? There you go. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to my own application. Beautiful. All right, cool. So I think we've gotten everything that I wanted to get off right here. Kind of a long way of saying that short term, probably just waiting on today's event. It does look like Bitcoin is kind of in a bit of a precarious place right here. This will start to initiate a swing failure pattern with a 4-hour closure just below about let's call it 37,000. If you want to put like a very specific number on it, I'd say about 36,700 or so would do it for me. That would kind of be my short-term swing failure pattern. And at that point, we will have hidden bearish divergence, technically speaking, between this point, this local high that we saw back on over here at about 39,000 or 39,500, and where we're at right now, which would imply at least one more move down around the lows if that does get initiated. Until then, technically speaking, should be looking sideways and up. But with an event looming over our heads, I do not trust the short-term timeframes in the same way. I only trust the higher term timeframes as far as major macro levels go. I'm just looking for quick, easy trades around those on the periphery. I don't look to hold anything into an event like this. In fact, one of my rules as a trader, and this was consistent when I was trading in traditional markets as well, whenever I see an economic event like this, especially the FOMC, I close all positions, about half a day leading into it, and then I look for the easy trades basically at like the 15 minutes to 30 minutes afterwards. Yeah, so there's typically some very, 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 very high volatility and usually some easy pickups. So with that in mind, I hope this one serves you well. And there you go for Bitcoin, sirs and zers. 2,200 people watching right now. That is wild, man. It's a rather quiet morning for something like this, but hey, good morning to you out there in cryptocurrency land or just any old world right now. I see 711 or 712 likes on the video as well. Fuck, you know what I forgot to talk about as well here? I forgot to talk about, of course, Dixie and the traditional markets, but we can just go over that really, really quickly. It doesn't need to be in the video. It's already too long anyway, so fair enough, man. Where's my damn Dixies? Where's my motherfucking Dixies over here? Hold on, uno momento. There we go. Yeah, Dixie on a daily. I'm still looking at this one as likely to trade, probably up from here. That's still bullish. Yeah, that's still bullish as well. Now I could invalidate bullishness on Dixie now that we do have a bit of a base at about $95, just below $95 on a weekly closure. I would say that this one goes for a much deeper retracement somewhere just below $94, which would theoretically be good, or not good, but the price action is neutral, right? But it would imply some upside for our assets, including Bitcoin and just about all markets. But higher term timeframes, again, monthly, that's not bearish. Quarterly, that's not also bearish as well. In fact, you got hidden bullish evidence. Downside momentum has waned and is even pointed up right now, like freshly. So not great, man. Not fucking great. And traditional markets, there is something interesting going on right here that I should probably bring into the analysis. Bitcoin and NASDAQ did not trade together for the first time on the short-term timeframes in a long time right here. We saw NASDAQ actually close the day down, Bitcoin closing the day up, and Bitcoin even taking out a short-term time frame range highs. Obviously, in this case, NASDAQ did not do the same thing, obviously. And for right now, this does look like another continuation setup for another downside move, to be quite honest with you, somewhere around the low. So that is why I really want to be very, 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 very clear in stating that, hey, if Bitcoin does initiate a bit of a swing failure pattern right there, very likely to test somewhere around the lows. Do you get a bounce after that, maybe into today's event? That would be a little more obvious to me, but now we're just getting too much into the fucking what if drawer, and it's just like there's too many variables going on around right now. This is why I was really hoping that we wouldn't see this move, this proverbial move, happen right here above $37,000 into basically before this event. Otherwise, this would have been a lot more of an easier call, at least in my opinion. All right, cool. So I'm going to turn on the alerts over here. Let's see what else has lined up. I'm going to take a sippy sip of my own water as well. See that I got some old crusty beef on my desk here too, so maybe I'll save that one for later. I'm really excited about that. All right, sweet. And when you say Krown trading, you say it so fast, sounds like Krown chain, sir. Like, figure it out from the fucking channel name. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, but I've just dealt with a lot of bullshit this morning. Man, I had like the weirdest fucking emails in my inbox this morning. It was like, okay, that's enough internet for the next 2 weeks, I think. Sorry, man, just giving you a little bit of shit. Yeah, but I'm sure that most people can figure it out. Brooke Diamond says, I'm very hey man, it's all good. Hold on, I need to develop a strategy I stick to and you speak on this for a minute or two. I'm not new to trading, but I need to refine things and stick to a plan. I'm guessing you missed a couple words there, but I'm going to guess what you're asking is, I need to develop a new strategy that I can stick to. And can you speak, is what I'm guessing, on this for a minute or two. All right. Here we have a great question from Mr. Brooke Diamond, or I'm guessing Mr. Brooke Diamond. Anyways, he says, I need to develop a new strategy that I can actually stick to, and can you speak on this for a minute or two? All right, so while I can't give you a direct strategy because I don't know who you are, I don't know what you actually trade, I don't know what timeframes you want to trade, I don't know what your lifestyle looks like, that actually even makes those styles of trading relevant. So what I have to do here is I have to give you a cookie cutter generalized rule set, which you can then backwards engineer and of course apply it to hopefully your life. So here's what I'd say. First things first, try to figure out, or if you haven't already figured out, what type of trader are you? Are you a long-term trader? Are you a macro investor? Are you a short-term time frame trader? Are you looking to scalp? Are you looking to trade trends? Are you looking to hold things for a long time? All of these things need to be defined by you. I cannot answer that for you. I can only tell you my own proclivities, which shouldn't matter anyways, because you are probably not me, and as no one is. I mean, we're all different, right? And so we all naturally have different preferences. So you need to first figure out that, because that is going to make whatever style of trading that you want to fully employ actually easy for you to implement and then fucking follow, which is rather important. So Once you have that, then you can backwards engineer. And that's going to be a function of like, how much time do you have per day to trade? How much time do you even want to put into trading per day? If at all, maybe you just want to be looking at like the weekly trend and just trading that, which means that you maybe make a few trades a year. That's fair enough. It's definitely fair enough. It's just all personalized stuff. So you need to first figure out that. If you haven't figured that out, the best way to do it is to just try a bunch of different styles and just figure out which one fits you. And then from there, you can start to construct a strategy that makes sense with that. So, let's say that that you've decided that you want to trade the daily trends. And that means that, you probably make a few trades every month, perhaps, because the daily trend doesn't really change all that often. I mean, for example, Bitcoin reversed below 63,500, and it's been the same way for like the last 2 months, for example, or a little bit more than 2 months now, almost 2.5 months, actually. And so you'd say, okay, well, if I want to trade the daily trend, maybe I employ at most 3 different indicators. In fact, the less the better, And for myself, if I was going to trade the daily trend, I'd want to use moving averages because I like that for a trend. I like volatility as always, because that always kind of coincides and kind of help me identify where we're at and like when to be a little more aggressive and things like that, and when to kind of expect breakdowns and whatnot as well. And then maybe something for momentum as well, just kind of like go alongside volatility for a bias on direction, but momentum was always like a much distant third in at least in my style, at least in my opinion. But overall, that would be kind of the way to go about that. Then what you need to do is you need to go ahead and you need to do the very, very boring process, but very enlightening process of backtesting that fucking strategy. Because why would you ever put any real money to a strategy? Why would you ever allocate real money to a strategy that is untested, that is unproven? Like for this example, I want to, I just did this on fucking Microsoft, or sorry, not Microsoft, but Google Sheets or whatever. Anyways, Google Sheets, yeah. And basically what I did is I went through and I just started testing new strategies, and to get about 100 iterations of a strategy tested takes about 2 hours, actually, if I really like nail it down and get it right. And yes, it's going to require some time, and it's probably going to be worthwhile. And the problem is, or maybe not the problem, but you're probably going to want to, reiterate that as well, at least another few times, because you're probably not going to get it right at first, because how can you? You don't really have any base to go off of. So naturally you will, as you get more and more information supporting or not supporting whatever your theory or strategy or trading strategy is, you will start to, change it a bit as well. So that's what I'd say about that, man. Other than that, it basically comes down to what can you actually be accountable towards yourself for? What can you actually be consistent with? And that usually just has to come with like a bit of experience and knowing your own trading personality. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for that, Mr. Brooke Diamond. Beautiful. All right, sweet. Let's see. All right. Nimbo, we don't need a fucking countdown for the goddamn FOMC. For the love of God, it's at the same time every fucking Wednesday. Sorry, man. Oh, sure, fine. Why not, man? Countdown. Look, it's at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, all right? Or 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll just get out your fucking countdown calculator over here. 12 hours, 10 minutes, and 53 seconds. There you go. There you fucking go. Enjoy. Or accept their cookies as well. Beautiful. Anyways, let's see what we have next. I believe we have Mr. Stefan Milicevic next. He says, hey, Krown, might be a dumb question, but is the Bitcoin crypto market semi-rallying before the meeting later today a little suspicious? Yeah, I would say so. Yes, 100%. That's why I'm really not inclined to trade that last move there. I mean, also, I don't trade breakouts, and if anything, actually, this is not one of my bearish setups right here. So fair enough. I actually do not have a downside setup just yet. So fair enough. Anyways, I see Mr. Sebastian Gwynn just jumped in. He says, hello, sir. What's up, brother? GPN. Okay. Oh, this is like some sort of a gold thing. All right. I'm actually not familiar with this one. Global payments. No, it's not gold thing. Also, just curious, do you think gold is truly a hedge? No. I've been listening to Peter Schiff too long. Yeah, man. No, gold doesn't really seem to be a hedge for anything, actually. It seems to be a hedge for wasting time in your life, is what it seems like to me. GPN looks to me like he just had a throwback right here. Throwback was rejected, probably playing back down around the lows. Hidden bearish divergence confirmed, and volatility is going to go on. It's probably going to trade. It's probably going to trend down there a little bit. Now, I would say that while this one is probably likely to test around the lows again, something like that, if you do see a move back above this rejective high after that move, that would be a really good indication that you probably are going to see this one at least trade back up towards your, I'm guessing this is, yeah, your August highs of this year, which is about 180 or so, perhaps even as high as about 195 or so. Above 195, I would say that this one is it's in the clear. It's out of the woods. That stupid fucking meme as well. That'd be pretty damn good. But for, personally speaking, I do think that this one has maybe one more swipe somewhere around the low, somewhere between about 120, maybe even as much as 130-ish region, something like that, and then does try a rally from there. Here's the thing. You hit extremes twice on weekly BBWP. I don't think that this move down has much more to go before playing out a bigger bounce. The question is, how high does the bounce go? Does it get up here to 175? Does it get up here to like 195 region? I don't have a strong opinion on that. I just take it level by level. First initiated and validated above about 155. But yeah, as far as gold and hedge talk goes, I mean, look, here's the thing. I can just give you a chart, man. Okay, so while we had the highest levels of inflation, the highest fucking levels of inflation ever, or maybe not ever, but just in the last couple of years here, what did gold do? What did gold do since March 2020? Well, while everything in their mother was going up humongous percents, gold went up 17.5%, which is good, but compare that to what should be like considered par for the course, which is what? Which is going to be SPY. So where are we going to start from? March 2020 right here. Where do we go from there? 115%. Great fucking hedge, man. Great fucking hedge, man. I love my gold hedge. That's a fucking phenomenal hedge. That's the best hedge I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
Oh, God.
Gold is a good hedge. All right. So, when was the last time we saw a market crash? 2008, right? What did my hedge coin do in 2008? Oh, March 2008 to June 2009, down 36.30 fucking percent.
Oh, God.
And then it went 3x from 2008 to the highs over here in 2011. What did traditional markets do basically, or let's even just take from 2008 to where we're at right now. I mean, it's even higher right now, to be fair, which this one went up. Let's just see. 169%. Well, fucking SPY, we already know, did just about that in the last 2 years. So God forbid, let's check out what happened in the last, since 2008 right here. I don't know. What's the real hedge? 600 fucking percent. 600 fucking percent. Sorry, man. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the dumb gold talk. Like, I don't understand. Like, how can people reasonably make an argument for gold when you look at it from that vein? How? Sorry, man. And again, that's nothing against you, man. I've nothing but love for you, Mr. Sebastian. But I've nothing but disdain for silly gold talk, because it's so easily invalidated as a worthy hedge. And that's just SPY, man. That's just SPY. Like, let's fucking look at Facebook, for example. Like some of the tech stocks. Like, that's the real hedge, if anything. It's a good hedge in a non-manipulated financial economy. That's what I always hear. It's just like communism works. It just always gets manipulated. Yeah. All right. BK says Vader versus Wrapped Ethereum, 4-hour daily weekly. Yep. We haven't looked at this one in a while, have we? I'm curious where this one is. Didn't get hit as much as hard as the rest of the market, which is kind of a good sign. But are we getting ready for a reversal, or are we getting ready for a trap? Okay, so I'm gonna guess your trappy area is gonna be right around here, like like 260 to 270 or so. Let's see. Holy shit. So while I do think it probably does rally from here, this is kind of the area for concern. So if you see something like this and it turns down and then specifically comes back down below about 230,000, that's going to be confirmation of bloop over a long enough period of time. If it doesn't do that and it does something like this, very, 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 very good. And to be fair, this one actually has held up, I'm going to guess, relatively well. Okay, maybe not. It's down 50% from the highs, so that's about par from the course. Maybe not, but fair enough, Anyways, 4-hour right here, we're seeing multiple drives of bullish divergence. Yeah, I do think next move is likely up. The question is what happens in this region right here. If it ain't good, then, well, you know I'm going with that one, man. Weekly, don't really think there's much of a weekly chart here. No, not really. Can't make much of a weekly nor a 5-day. If anything, the 5-day would be concerning, but I don't really have a real analysis on that. My analysis is generally going to come down to whatever Bitcoin does, especially on a day like today. I can tell you exactly where I'd be looking for on like a humongous market meltdown. Sorry, it would not be here. That's not relevant for this. That would be below 182.750, and at that point, I'm looking for this one to trade all the way back down somewhere around like your, I don't know, December consolidations right here, maybe even as low as your December breakout or so. Not much price action history to go off of on that one. They just haven't tried the right communism yet. The capitalists keep ruining it. That's right, man. And that's exactly what's happened with gold as well. It's being manipulated, man. Those whales are manipulating my gold. I can't count how many fucking times I've heard that argument, man. I can't. It's like you can say whatever you want about it. Maybe it is manipulated, but at the end of the day, your P&L is judged off of what's on the chart in front of you, not off of, but my manipulations. Anyway, Simply Gain says, thinking outside box, if this was meant for just a gap fill past 3 months at all-time high, how could a Bitcoin filled 33 gap without it being considered bearish? Hold on, I'm not sure if I understand that at first pass. Okay, if this was meant for just a gap fill, like, okay, so you mean like it just comes back down to the gap and then all well and good after that. In the past 3 months at all-time high, how could a Bitcoin... Oh yeah, I would agree. It is fucking bearish. It is for the long term. That is why my main ideas on Bitcoin are bearish until proven otherwise, which proven otherwise means back above $47,000. And in the short term, Bitcoin can definitely rally around there. But just in general, and I think you probably already know this because you've been around here long enough. But basically, whenever you see something that completely erases like a whole rally like this, that's not bullish long term. Doesn't mean that it can't bounce here. In fact, I think it very likely does over the next couple of weeks. But it's like that's again, I would say long term, not what you're looking for. Yeah, I'd agree with you. I don't trust this run yet, says Force. Yeah, I do think that there's good cause for concern. Again, this is why I'm really waiting for, of course, the what's it called, the FOMC meeting a little bit later today. Let's see. Jack Jansen says, hey, a reversal question. Oh, again. Okay, all good. Not Bitcoin, but in general, are there confirmation points you need to see for reversals on a daily or go from experience more so? No, it's actually very, very clear. It's very fucking clear. Look, if you're looking for a reversal, there is only one way to actually confirm a real reversal ever. It doesn't even matter what time frame you're talking about. It is, in this case, if you're coming off of a downtrend, you need both a higher high and a higher low. Just a higher high without a higher low as well is not a reversal. And also same thing for just a higher low, but without a higher high as well. That is also not a reversal. You need both. And without both, it is not a confirmed reversal and does allow for the possibility and even probability of a bit of a trap situation because trends are more likely to continue. So yes, there is definitely a way to do that. Absolutely. So fair enough. Hello, it says I'm in timeout. No, man, you're right there. I don't know who would put you in timeout. Mods, stop being so fucking heavy-handed. Jesus Christ. I love our mods, but man, you don't need to be so heavy-handed on everyone. It's all good, especially with Sebastian, man. He's been a long-time friend of this channel, so all good there. Anyways, let's see. NWB says, hey man, if we do get a sweep to the lows prior to the meeting, would you then expect an upswing if the meeting has no negatives? It's not if the meeting has no negatives, it's the expectation of the meeting. The expectation of the meeting is that there's going to be 4 rate hikes and that, it's on schedule basically. If they come out and say, hey, you know what, I think we're kind of destroying the markets and so maybe we do 3 rate hikes instead of 4, that will very likely be, a catalyst for some upside, probably up to like 39 and maybe $40,000. Again, I don't want to get too much into the weeds here of like trying to guess a move before it happens. That's usually a bad idea in my experience. But so I think instead of even focusing on the move beforehand, it's probably just more. It's just easier to wait for the meeting itself, man. Because again, there's no way to absolutely know what they're gonna do. Okay, there is absolutely no way to know what to do. Anyways, so kind of I'd even just simplify from exactly what you're saying right there. Anyways, let me throw back on over here. I think Sebastian Gwynn is next again. He says, so I shouldn't have liquidated my portfolio for those gold bars. I mean, it depends what you want to do. So there is one thing that gold does quite well in that it does, well, I'm gonna say that it does hold steady more or less. And to be honest, like I am bullish on this chart. Like this is a bullish chart right here over the next half year to a year. The problem with gold is that, you know, when you have to be comparing it to your other opportunities to understand opportunity cost, right? So when you're thinking in terms of opportunity cost, you have to be thinking like, okay, gold, you know, could go up here quite a fair bit, but is it going to go up more than, you know, X, Y, Z that you could also be in as well. So I actually am bullish on gold, and I do think that gold probably does go for new all-time highs this year. This is quite good in my opinion. It's just it's very slow, and it doesn't really seem to play in like an obvious and directly related fashion to what you would expect as something that is going to be an inflation hedge or just a hedge against anything, or even just like as steady in itself. Like that's, you know, it's just kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of it's clearly losing its spot in the world. That's just my opinion. But again, I'm not a macro guy in that sense. I'm not a fundamental guy in that sense. I'm just kind of relating what I see off the charts right here, which, you know, again, I'm very, very bullish on this chart. It's just, is it going to be more bullish than, you know, something that, than the infinite amount of other opportunities that you might have in this world for the same purpose? Maybe not. That'd be kind of my pushback on a statement like that. Anyways, let me scroll back on up here, and Sean Waller says, happy Australia Day. Got into the strife from the hugs and kisses because I was at the beach. What does that even mean? With my old fella hanging out of my budgies. Nice. I'm happy for you, man. Don't know what the hell that means though, man. It's like Australians are just speaking a completely different language, but I like it, man. I like it. Anyways, Australians are typically the chillest people that you'll meet, especially when they're traveling. Just very, very cool people in general. Anyways, Zeko says, hey man, can you check out FTM on the 4 and daily? Yeah, this Phantom. Curious to see where this one is. Again, I believe it was one of the strong ones. And is it still one of the strong ones? Yeah, I'll still say it's one of the strong ones. Again, not immune from the market's movements, obviously, but and yesterday I was actually looking for it to probably come back down and test around the lows. I'd still feel a lot more confident on this one if it does come down and set another higher low somewhere around about $1.60 to $1.70 or so. It doesn't mean that it needs to happen, but 4-hour time frame right here, I still think I'm going to probably get my move, to be honest with you. We see some hidden bearish divergence now finally starting to form. This will be fully confirmed with any sort of a closure below 226. At that point, I would be looking for that for another move at the lows. I'm starting to get that vibe from Bitcoin as well, as it does kind of play out this move beforehand. But again, just like we were speaking about with NWB, I really want to get away from trying to, you know, guess something before it actually happens. We have a very specific event coming up later today. It's gonna be a lot easier to just take the easy trades from that. So in this case right here, have you gotten your actual breakout just yet? No, your breakout would be above about 250 or so on a 4-hour delta closure. It's gotten pretty damn close, but still, I do think that this one's a little bit more likely to probably test around the lows. I'd feel a lot more confident with seeing this one somewhere down around about $1.65 to $1.70, and then trying an upside move from there. So hopefully that was helpful on Phantom. Nero Struton says, can you check out Adam on the 4-hour? Yeah. Adam USD over here. This Cosmos, another one of the stronger ones, and very, very similar chart here, but this one already starting to show some weakness. You got another lower high right here. You're gonna have some hidden bearish divergence as well, which will populate with confirm below about 33.80. I'd very likely be looking for another move down to below somewhere around $31 or so. So I am starting to get now that I've looked at a few altcoins here, I am starting to really switch around or feel a lot more confident in like a short-term play back down somewhere around range lows, or at least the median of the range or so. I don't think this is not the breakout that you're looking for, as we kind of or the bounce that you're looking for just yet, as we kind of spoke about yesterday. So I do think that this is helping round up my own views on this. So thank you for that. And also, again, same thing as Adam, as like Phantom, right? While I do think that short term probably is a bit of downside right here, coming back down to, you know, $28 or so would be completely fine. Long term, I'd just be looking for higher lows somewhere around, between about $26.50 to $28 or so. You do have a bit of bearish divergence on that last high as well, now that I check it out. I thank you, caretaker for that one. Man, I'm so reliant on this damn indicator now. It's like the training wheels have taken over, and I don't. It's like I've lost my way. But it's even better because it actually does. Add a few very, very important things to my own strategies. Anyways, what the fuck is going on here? Huh. All right. Let me just, I'm just actually, I want to bring in my own trading account just because I am starting to look at a few things that maybe I want to take advantage of if we do see it on stream here. Anyways, Mr. Ben0613 says XCAD. Okay, so if memory serves me correctly, this one was one of like the best ones, one of the best of the best ones. As of recent, no, not any longer. This is really starting to show its first signals of weakness here. And hold on, the 5 days probably gonna have some bearish divergence. Yes, 1, 2, 3 drives coming off the highs. I do think you could very easily see rallies up to like 6.5, 660-ish region even. But ultimately, I do think that you're seeing the highs here for a while now. And over the next month or two, you probably do see this one work its way down to like 360, or sorry, Jesus Christ, man, those are big numbers. 390, between about 390 and 320 or so. If you're just looking at a 4 hour, as you did ask for, I think, no, yeah, medium and long term, which I'm guessing that's what that means to you. Probably going to bounce here at least another time. I do think that next move probably does try some upside, but again, anything below, especially like 7.25, is just another lower high, and you know, again, could very easily rally up somewhere around like 6.5, 670 or so. I'm just looking for that to actually push back and then initiate some downside after that. Monthly, not enough history. Bi-weekly, not enough history. 5 day, barely has enough history. Bi-daily, same thing. So, you know, short term could very easily rally up, but I would just be looking at those areas as likely a sell after maybe a short term move to the upside, which I'm not even too confident about to begin with. So fair enough. All right, cool. All right, let me scroll back on over here. I think we have Jack Jansen next. He's back again, baby. He's back again. Hold on. I'm reading this. This translation from Nimbo. Nimbo says budgies equals DT. Don't know what that means. DTs equal dicktogs. Dicktogs? What's that? Swimmers that which equals swimmers that Olympians wear. So like the tidy whities of swimsuits. What the fuck? Budgies equals man, you guys are very, 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 very clever in your language. Jack Jansen says, wishing you and Elsa well. Hey man, wishing you well as well, sir. Magic versus Raptorium on the 4 hour, please. Yep. Let's check this one out here. I forget. I know we've looked at this one in the past, but I forget what it looks like. Actually, pretty good. All things considered, man. This is rather a surprise right here. I have to be bullish on this chart, man, I guess. I'm bullish on this thing on it. I'm guessing you're on a day. No, you're on a 4 hour. This one would actually be a lot more simple on a daily, to be honest with you. You know, 4 hour, can you see corrections down to like 0.001, or maybe even as low as 0.09495 region? Yeah, but I actually look at this one as decent from a daily perspective, and I've no real reason to be bearish on this thing as long as you're above basically whatever this higher low is right here at about 0.008 or so. So short-term corrections likely do just align with higher lows. Long-term, I mean, this one's just up and to the right, which is good. 5 day just closed yesterday, so you know, short-term, could you see correction down? Yeah, around like 0.001, anywhere around there is fair game. But I actually would be looking for this one to continue up and to the right, I guess. How much do I trust them like this if the rest of the market comes down again? Well, I guess it's held up relatively well, so take that as you will. But short term, probably another pullback. Short term, or short medium term, that is. But I'd just be looking for a higher low there and probably another try up. Where's your confirmation of another breakout to the upside? Any sort of a 4 hour closure above 0.155, that is, would look pretty damn good for, I guess, new highs in this case. But again, I don't think that happened before. First point out a pullback there. Cool. All right. Cameron Nurkum says, have you looked at the chart and tweets made by Elon Tesla by date last year? It seems he moved Bitcoin a shitload in both ways. No, I haven't. And I don't pay attention to Elon Musk. Not because I don't respect him. I actually respect him significantly. But I haven't done that. I'm guessing that there probably was a bit of an effect. I know that there are several bots that are just kind of linked up to scrape whatever tweets that he makes in order to, you know, make a quick trade. But yeah, I don't really have an opinion on that, man. I'm sure that he has a little bit of an interim, like a very short term, what's it called? A very short-term effect. For example, I do remember one time very specifically, that would be over here. This was when, this was back in January 29th. I remember on this day, Elon came out and he said on Twitter, I believe it was, that Tesla was going to accept Bitcoin maybe as payment, something like that, something to that effect. You got an immediate move to the upside, a very, very big move to the upside right here, from 31,750 all the way up to basically 40,000, which was almost 22% move. But that move got undone over the next few days. So that's typically what I look for on those sorts of events. You don't want your asset to be driven, or your stock or whatever you might be trading, to be driven by one person's, whims and tweets. And this is typically what does happen in those cases. So it does reset. And then, trend did take on over after that. Absolutely. But I try not to pay too much attention to it, although, you probably do bring up a good point. I mean, it has had an effect, yeah. Has had an effect, but I think effect, or the point that I want to make is that the effect, you're not going to see on like a line chart, for example. I think this is the easiest way to kind of relate this concept. Look, if you look at a line chart, it's like, all right, it's just another day. So yeah. Anyways, let me go back on over here. But a very interesting point to bring up though. NWB says, would you count out the 30,000 move? Would you count out the 30,000 move until we have had some kind of more substantial relief rally? No. So that's actually the opposite way of that I think about it. So what you're referring to is, no, not this one right here. Yeah, it's this one right here. So what you're referring to is the measured move, the implied target based off of the head and shoulders formation that we had right here. So would I count that move out? You're basically saying, would you not be looking for that move to occur until first day bounce? I don't think in those ways. I look at this as actionable and a relevant target based off of this technical formation right here, as long as the formation itself is not invalidated. How do you invalidate this formation? In this case, it would have to be with, at minimum, let me get out a rectangle right here, at minimum with a daily closure back above about $44,000, the last lower high in this series of lower highs for the last 2.5 months now. So that is what would invalidate it for me. Until then, this is a reasonable target, but I think I think I'm misunderstanding your question. I apologize, but I think what you're basically asking is like, do you think that move can't happen until Bitcoin like puts in another lower high somewhere right around here? I think that's a little more likely, to be honest with you, but I wouldn't say that that's like a hard set rule. It doesn't need to be. So I wouldn't like just say that blindly, because I don't think it's not like a rule. Although theoretically, you probably want to see a bounce, get some people trapped up a little bit higher, and then bring it back down. That would make more sense theoretically, but it doesn't need to happen in that way. So I do see what you're saying. I can't really say anything more specific than that, I guess, at least from my experience. I truly Army one says, can you check out XRP, please? You demand. Man, I appreciate that, but I don't know if you're going to like me after this. 62 cents, right? Jesus Christ. Oh my God, man. Okay, those LARP lines are, LARP lines ain't going to save this one now, are they? All right, so let's redo this chart. Okay, and you're basically looking at, no, you're not looking at anything because you don't have any time frames here. It's a weekly catching a bit of a bid right there. I guess a little bit. 5-day already closed yesterday. I do think that you could see another sweepier low somewhere right around about low 50 cent, whether that be about 51 to 55 cents or so. That's completely fine. I would be looking for bounces around there. Monthly is actually starting to lose its structure, and the monthly is starting to shape up to be macro bearish, at least implying a move down just below 50 cents. I guess it's not that further down than even my daily level, so fair enough. Maybe that's a bit too of an aggressive statement. Go over here to a daily. Do we see anything that's obvious? Nope, no divergences to be spoken about just yet. 12-hour. Anything over here? A little bit, but I think the majority of that move's already played out. And let's go down to a 4-hour. Already finding a little bit of pressure. Didn't even break out of the short-term range highs, which would be about 64, 65 cents or so. So that is also not too confidence-inducing. I would say any sort of a 4-hour closure below about 61 cents. 61 cents in this case will confirm this as another rejection. You'll also have a local high confirm, which will confirm hidden bearish divergence right here 3 times, and probably does beget another try somewhere into the mid 50s, let's say. At that point, I actually probably would not be looking for too much more continuation to new lows in this case before like a greater bounce. And that's kind of what the market is looking like, is shaping up across the board here. Most altcoins are starting to confirm lower highs yet again, even though Bitcoin didn't necessarily get the same thing. I'm looking at that at this moment a little bit more like a trap. Still, though, I'm not making any trading decisions until the event a little bit later today, of which credit to Nimbo. We got 11 hours, 44 minutes, and 31 seconds. So there's your fucking countdown, huh? But overall, that's a long way of saying I'd be a lot more interested in playing a bounce somewhere around like low 50 cents region. And a bounce is not the same thing, again, as a reversal. Yeah, I'm not a humongous fan of this chart long term, but it can pump and dump out of nowhere sometimes. Other than that, I don't know exactly what time frame you're going off of. I think it's actually, this one's a little more easy on the short term time frames. I do not look for any continuation as long as you're below about, what is this, 64 cents, 64 and a half cents. Above 64 and a half cents on a 4-hour closure, I do look for this one to rally up towards 69 cents, which is a great number, but not really anything relevant for even the daily trend in this case. I mean, daily trend is kind of wrecked here as long as you're below about 80 cents. So that's quite a far ways away. Cool. Or maybe not cool. Anyways, I think actually, oh no, we have one more over here. What's up, Greg Daniels? Wahami, bro. That's right. We all almost made it. We almost made it. We didn't, but we got close. So maybe there's next time. maybe there's next time, man. Good sense, man. Thanks, man. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. Near USC. Yeah, we haven't looked at Near in a while. Okay. Let's pull this one up over here. Near versus the dollar. And yeah, this one's completely lost structure as well. Well, at least on the daily. So I'm probably looking for this one to come down to about $8.50 or so. I mean, we played out our moves to the upside. I mean, we did hit our targets to the upside, so fair enough. Actually, that's, yeah, all right. Yeah, sounded back down, I guess, for a while. Probably looking at a move back down somewhere around about 8.5 to 8, or sorry, whoa, those numbers change around fast. More like 860 to about, what the fuck, $10? That seems a little bit too wide of a range. I'm basically looking somewhere around here. Basically somewhere around there over the next 5 to 10 days. Yeah, I mean, this one's already played out our moves and everything. It's more likely to contract for a while and consolidate lower. 4-hour time frame, let's see. Or did you have a time frame? Yeah, you did 5-day and in daily. So you're not necessarily asking about a time frame like this, but you know, we do see another rejection at short-term range highs here. Let me just pull this damn box out over here. We're gonna have another drive of hidden bearish divergence soon, confirmed. 4-hour jewel is going to lose it's going to come into a bit of a resistance area soon. I'm looking for this one to come down at least below $10 again, or somewhere right around there. You know, maybe even as low as about 860 to 870. That's where I'm looking for like a greater bounce and maybe even a major low. But for right now, still looking at this one as kind of under pressure, and I'm generally getting that impression from most of this market. The only thing that kind of had a little bit of a different structure going on was Bitcoin, and even that one's looking like it's probably going to turn into a bit of a swing failure pattern right there. But again, it's just, I really would highlight some caution with just waiting for this event that's coming up a little bit later today. It's gonna make things, I think, a lot more simple. Mr. Jesus says, can you do AR on the 1 and 4 hour? Sure. Simple AR. This is R weave. I'll do that right after I just saw that one right now. Anyways, AR on the 1 and 4 hour. Okay, this one has some pretty obvious ranges right here. In this case, we do not see the same sort of potential hidden bearish divergence setup right here, which is interesting because you typically see the same things amongst all charts. But basically, your range highs right here are 34.69 or 34.70 essentially. So a 4-hour closure above there, and I'm probably looking for this one to try and move somewhere up around 38 or so. That's only relevant for the short term, but it sounds like you're only interested in the short term. Hourly is actually being somewhat constructive here as well. I'd really only, well, the breakout move is not validated here anyways just yet, but I would validate a downside move, which this one doesn't really have in the, it doesn't really have in the mix just yet, to be fair. With any sort of an hourly closure, let's say below about 31.25. At that point, I'm probably looking for moves back down towards 29.25 or so. I'm looking for something obvious on this one. This one actually looks, dare I say, better than most, especially on the short term. What about Bitcoin over here? Bitcoin going to push on through? No, that one looks actually a little more constructive than Bitcoin, funnily enough. Anyway, South Charlotte Services says, hi Elsa, can you do CRO? Okay, all right. CRO, okay, this thingy. I'm actually curious to see where this one is nowadays. Bittrex, let's go to a daily. No time frames given, as always, but all good. Anyways, this one actually having a pretty good bounce right here. Do we have anything that's obvious on the board? No, not yet. 4-hour. Do we have any potential hidden bearish divergence just yet? Actually, no. So that would be somewhat good, I guess. Maybe a 12 hours. I'm looking for some obvious right here. I suppose if this one does continue, I'm looking somewhere around about 45 cents to maybe even as high as 48 cents. Yeah, I'm probably looking for this one to try a little more upside, probably somewhere around mid to upper 40s, perhaps even as much as 50 cents or so. Different though. Again, it's usually not wise or profitable to be looking at something different on an altcoin like this versus the majority of this market, but I don't really have anything to add on to it other than that. Actually, I'm looking at this one in a more bouncy posture. This one's kind of played out all of our downside corrective targets already, so I think it's more likely to play out some sideways and up here, maybe even as high as like 48 to 50 cents. Where does this one start to change around though? Where does this one actually start to be long-term bullish is the real question, I think, and that's not happening anytime soon. That would be about 68 cents on a higher term time frame. Until then, short-term bouncy. Yeah. Where'd I invalidate this one on short-term bouncy below about 37.5 with moves back down around or maybe even slightly lower than your current lows at around 32 to 34 cents or so. Until then, I actually do think that this one's played out the strong majority of its correction already and probably is looking for some sideways and up from here. But I don't know how much I trust that, to be honest with you. Again, the event later today, that's really going to drive markets, I suspect. Let's see, Andre 3005 says, hey Krown, wondering about a question for full-time traders. Okay. Do you have any advice for consistent wins during a bear market? Well, construct a strategy that you can backtest in a general daily downtrend, and well, then you'll have your own strategy for that. So I've already done that myself several times. In fact, I just released one or several into the technically it is several into the TA program, for generally just downside trending moves. But it's like realistically your strategy from a bull market to a bear market should change theoretically. I mean, naturally the statistics of a certain strategy will very likely change dependent upon your general daily direction. At least that's kind of what I get from my own back testing. But basically, do you have any advice for consistent wins? Well, my advice would be you got to first, if your strategy for a bull market has been working, I would first actually backtest that same strategy for a bear market. And just see, are the statistics different? If they are, then and presumably worse, then it's time to construct a new strategy and then just go through the same motions as that. It's it's the same thing, man. Down markets are can be extremely profitable, of course. In fact, I'd even say down markets, while they might be a little more difficult to trade, they do bring in money and opportunity faster because a lot of the time, markets can move down quicker than they can go up more often than not. What's the old saying is that you take the stairs up and then the elevator down, right? So I don't know if you're asking me for like a specific strategy. I like to trade trend strategies. I mean, in this case, like the 4 hours are actually rather clear right here. I'm sure most people can figure it out. But if you just like want some just general advice, I guess, just backtest whatever strategy that you're considering, and then you'll have your own data, and that's the best way to go about it. Anyways, cash is a position, as we have learned, says Frivolous. I mean, yeah, it could also be that. I mean, you also don't need to trade a downside market. I know several people, professional traders who I highly respect, who they'll only just trade an upside market, and what they do is that when that general bull market ends, they leave that market and they go to a market that is doing the same thing, because that's where their edge is. They're just, they don't want to deal with the downside market. They don't like their strategies in it. They don't like, their inherent risk with their strategies in a different market. So they just go and search out a different market that's actually going up. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. Anyways, there will be no bear market, says Killer Bow 95. I've never heard that one before. Atlian says strong USD for and daily. Sure. Strong. We haven't looked at this one in a very long time. Strong versus Tether. 4 hour and daily in all capitals, man. Don't need to yell at me, sir. It's all good. I'm right here. So I'm gonna read your comment. Let's see. A bit of a different chart than most, in fact. I do look at, what is this, like three 390 to about 420. Oh, great number right there. Just great number. Do you look at, oh, I guess I've already charted this one. So let's get rid of this. Not relevant towards what we're speaking about now. All the upside targets been hit. Beautiful. I do look at this as kind of like a long-term basing area. You know, do you come back down around here first before trying to get higher? Maybe yes, but ultimately this one's actually showing some signs of accumulation between 650 highs and 420 lows or so. I don't think it's going to be ready anytime soon. I do think that you're going to be going sideways like this for a while, you know, and then maybe like around end of this year, probably earliest, you might see an upside move. There is no validation of a long-term reversal to the upside until you start closing dailies above 740 or 750 on a weekly. You can move that area down to about 650. But this one is actually holding up a little bit better than most, which is rather interesting. Anyways, 4-hour time frame does look like we might have another drive of hidden bearish divergence right here. 4-hour RSI making significantly higher highs than our last lower high right here, which is all the way up at 585 or so. So I'm probably looking for this one upon confirmation, which will be had with any sort of a 4-hour closure below about 488 for another move down around your 440, maybe even as low as 420 or so lows. Yet again, I don't think that this one will actually break below the blue box. However, I do look at this as a long-term base scenario because it's actually been working incredibly well here. So I'd respect that until proven otherwise. Let's see. What is there are some really interesting comments going on in the comment section today. Bear market is a psychological thing. It's emotion. No, that's not true. I mean, do you call this emotion? Here, let me show you an actual bear market. Is this emotion? Sir, this is down for a year. The daily trend is down. The weekly trend is down. All trends are down. Is that emotion? No, that's 83.5% down. I think that's very relevant to be prepared for. It can certainly happen. And if you don't think it can happen, that's usually when it does happen. Maybe if we all just 50x long, prices will go up. Maybe for like 2 seconds. Market makers only care about liquidating retail. I don't think you understand about market making. I hear this bullshit all the time, man. I suspect that you have very little experience with that, and I don't say that to shit on you. I say that because I actually used to be a market maker authorized trader myself, and I can assure you that market makers are only concerned with delta neutral strategies because that's the whole fucking point of market making. Did you even know that? What they're doing in markets like this that don't really have like mature options markets, they're probably doing stat arbitrage, meaning that they just look for, you know, little arbitrage opportunities between one exchange to another where they can, you know, make like a few cents profit, meaning that they don't play fucking direction, for the love of fucking God, man. What you have confused with market makers is probably quant firms that actually do play direction and can actually map out where your stop losses are if they can. I mean, if they even need to begin with, because you probably just put them around very obvious areas anyways. So no, that is incorrect. That is completely incorrect. And I just see this silly stuff getting repeated all the time because no one knows. Very few people know better. It sounds smart. It sounds you know, legitimate, but I just take personal, like I just take it personally because I actually used to be one, and so I actually know that market makers are also, you know, in a competition with themselves for a fucking one. So it's like they're really playing against each other. In fact, the most money that I typically would lose on like a day would be like getting picked off by other market makers. Dear fucking Lord, man. What? All right, close the chats. Anyways, Gabor says, good morning. Hey, man, thank you for that. Could you check out 4-hour and daily for LRC? Sure. Let's see. All right, LRC, and you're looking at a 4-hour and daily. This one's looking bouncy to me. 4-hour time frame, though. 4-hour time frame, you will have potentially hidden bearish divergence between this lower high that you saw on the 20th of January and what you're doing right here, but that will not be confirmed until you close below about 98 cents. This one actually looks like on a daily, like it probably does try another move to the upside, somewhere around about 128, maybe even much as 135 or so. This one's been beat up a shit ton to the downside. I think that this one's ready for a bit of a bouncy bounce here. Kind of similar to what we were saying yesterday. It's like, this is not good by any stretch of the imagination whenever you see something like this, but you know, when you play out like a 70 or 80% move to the downside, okay, 84% move to the downside without any real major like prolonged bounces on a daily, you know, I think at worst it's gonna, you know, at worst it maybe comes back down to like 69 cents or so, but ultimately I do think that you're in a more bouncy area than not. So the question is, does it push on through here and initiate moves back up into like the mid to low $1 region, or does it or does it kind of come down and base again at about 75 cents and then try for that move? either which way, I do think that this is more or less more likely a nice low area before the next sort of rally attempt. However, problem with your next rally attempt is that anything below about 169 is another lower high on the daily, and well, not great long term. So hopefully that's helpful, man. Yeah, coming back down below your 2017, 2018 highs, also not a good sign of strength as well, but very likely to bounce from this region long term. Maker's Mark is a great bourbon. Nice. Very nice. NWB says normally bull runs end in euphoria, so maybe a blow off top Q4. Well, what was this not a euphoric run right here, or nor right here? I guess I disagree with that. The only way to really measure that, I suppose, is fear and greed index, and fear and greed index did hit during those times. Well, 90 reads. In the more recent one, in the $69,000 current all-time high, we actually didn't get into the 90s for what it's worth. But you know, I don't know. I don't think that a blow-off top is needed. You know, people got so married to this idea of a blow-off top, and this is not really a blow-off top here. It's more of like a rounded distribution. No, I don't think that you're going to see blow-off tops any longer in Bitcoin. And I've seen this, and sorry, I've been saying this for a while now, at least for like the last year. The reason why this is because when you have big institutions and big kind of like value players in the game now, which is kind of the purpose of having like an ETF available, well, what happens with that, or the way that those guys trade and think, is that they are kind of mandated to take profit, you know, every, 5, 10, especially 20% up. So they're not going to be holding like people do, where you get this sort of price action created over here. Like this is a blow off top, right? You know, it immediately comes down, doesn't recover for years. That's a completely different game. And this over here, there's a lot less, or barely any, major institutional players that kind of play that game. And it was mostly retailers and a few few bigger quant firms as well, and liquidity providers, who would hold and create price action like this. Nowadays, you're just not going to get that. So you're more likely to get something like this, which is actually what we're getting. So yeah, and that's also why I kind of think, in the future from now, you're not really going to see like, you're not really going to see some like this, you're probably going to see some more like this, and then, creates like a box right there, and then tries another rally, and then creates a box like another 10, 20% higher, something like that. I think is what you're more likely to see. You're not going to see like the just, boop, you see that on altcoins, right? But that's because, those big firms, those big players are not in altcoins in the same way. Like Solana, for example, this one, this is a blow off top, right? This is a very obvious example of a blow off top. Let me pick out another one as well. Maybe Matic. I mean, this is actually less so of a blow off top, but still pretty damn ridiculous right there. Do we have another one? Maybe Link. Yeah, Link blow off top, and then boom, sideways and down for like the next year. Those are blow off tops. And at some point, assuming that these ones are legitimate, and also AVEX as well, assuming the more legitimate projects, you're probably going to see those bigger players move into them over time, as it becomes more and more reasonable, because obviously liquidity is going to be a humongous issue with something like this, right? And then you'll probably see them mature, and then they'll operate more like you see Bitcoin now. But that might be, 5, 10 years down the road. Who knows? I have no way of knowing. But until then, I don't think that you're going to see any more blow-off tops. So I think a lot of the people talking about blow-off tops in Q4 for whatever reason this past year of 2021, I think that is very misguided. I just think that that's very misguided. You aren't going to see bear markets just up and down for... What's a bear market to you, man? If this ain't a fucking bear market to you, I don't know what is, man. I don't know what is. 50% down, it's not a bear market. It's like, look, technically speaking, it's actually not a bear market, just because the way that I define a bear market is, weekly downtrend. We're getting close there, to be fair. I mean, the next lower high will do it. But still, it's not a bear market, so all good, guys. 52% down is okay. It's like, I really take... I really get ticked off by a statement like that. It's like, what? Okay, this is okay to hold? That's okay to hold because bull market? Good luck like that, man. I don't know. Good luck like that. Why do so many people say overbought and oversold? Again, it's one of those Investopedia, just what's it called? definitions, right? And to be fair, like you just need I understand what those people mean. You're at extremes, right? You're at extremes. So, your RSI, it's oversold right now. So it's more likely to bounce. But that's really like a small and myopic view of how momentum oscillators should be used. Momentum oscillators need to be referenced in relationship to each other, not just as at like a singular point. And that's why I focus a lot more like on divergence, for example. So when there's a divergence between trend and then momentum, that's when you're more likely to bounce, or maybe even reverse. And same thing, for when it's very, very high over here. But just being oversold means nothing. I mean, Bitcoin's been quote unquote oversold since when? Basically since January, early January. So that was, if you just blindly bought low RSI, bro, you're sitting on like a nearly $10,000 loss, which is not a bear market. So it's okay to hold. Dear Lord, man. Dear fucking Lord. Your patience showing through. I think I'm actually losing my patience. Probably looking like a moron. People are calling July bear markets. Again, you can define it however you want, but a 50% downside move, that I don't care what you define as bullish markets or bearish markets, but if you play at a 50% downside move, that is a 50% downside move. That, in my opinion, is not good trading, nor good investing, nor good really much of anything. Unless you're thinking like maybe 10 years down the road, at which case still, how are you going to explain to your investors or whoever, or maybe even to yourself, okay, well, I just held through a 50% drawdown, but it's okay, guys. Market's going to recover. Do you think that many crypto influencers take advantage of their audience? No, I don't. I think that that's also an overstatement as well, because let me differentiate here. So when people say something like that, I do think there is an element of that when it comes to like very illiquid and just like kind of obscure altcoins, because you can take advantage in that way. Like I say, I get a shit ton of emails, so I know this to be true. And for my channel, which is relatively small compared to a lot of the channels that get these sort of requests, but I get a lot of these emails basically saying, hey, we'll pay you X amount of money, or maybe give you some of the coin of the shit coin if you record a video or do like an advertisement basically for this altcoin. And so I understand that if someone were to take that and then promote it on their channel, and they also have like a vested interest in that coin as well, then that could be considered taking advantage, because you're basically promoting something that is garbage and that wouldn't have had any organic interest in it. And then you're, presumably the people watching and consuming that content, they might buy it because perhaps they're easily, impressionable, or they just don't know any better. They just are, have a lot of trust in that person. And then, that influencer, that YouTuber, whatever, can then dump on them, using them for liquidity. For Bitcoin, however, the market cap is so big. There's so many big players that I don't think it matters. Same thing for Ethereum. Same thing for most of the majors. I think that would really only work on like the very obscure and smaller shitcoins, which you do see going around. There's this great guy on YouTube named Spencer Cornelia who uncovers a lot of like these just in general scams, but he focused a lot on like these crypto scams as well. And he did like some actual detective work into them, which was really fucking interesting to me, because he could basically actually prove, or maybe not prove, but strongly show, maybe with a little bit of doubt here and there, that some people have certainly done that, and that I think that's obviously, well, not good. Anyways, let's see. I just realized that Helsinki, Finland is about 185 kilometers from Russian border. It's basically like a pseudo-Russian over here. So the line in the sand is, once you start shilling an altcoin, time to move away from you. Pretty much, Like if you see me shilling altcoins, then I'd suggest like you don't fucking. It's probably not legitimate. Basically, it's probably not legitimate. I've never taken one of those deals, and I don't really have any plans to. And here's the thing, man. Like, to give you guys some insight into what people will kind of sell themselves for. A lot of the time when I get courted for these offers, it's between about $5,000 and maybe even as much as $20,000 to promote this altcoin. Maybe also with like they'll give you some coin as well, so that way you have some skin in the game that you can actually pump it up, I guess, a little bit more. So what people are kind of selling themselves for is like these are rather low numbers. You can't obviously make a long-term living or even like any realistic living with those sorts of numbers, because you're presumably going to burn out your follower base if you do that. Then again, I look at some of the channels who I might be a bit skeptical of maybe doing, employing such tactics, and they are some of the biggest channels, so fair enough. Maybe they are making it like that. I don't know. But for myself, I still make the majority of my money actually trading, so I don't really like one, I don't want to morally do that, and two, I also don't need to do it. And then also, of course, I have YouTube as well, which provides a nice little supplementary income. That is so unethical. And yes, selling themselves. I mean, yeah, okay. So here's the question that I'd kind of push maybe back on that with is like, if those people were to disclose that, if they said like, hey, this is a paid advertisement, this is what I got for this, would that still be unethical? I don't think so, but I also don't think that they do that. I don't think that the majority of them do that is the problem. So maybe if they did do that, that would be okay, but I don't, without doing that, if you're presenting it as like an organic thing, yeah, that I would agree is probably unethical. People tend to not like crypto banter. I'm not really familiar with crypto banter. I just see their tweets and YouTube videos pop up every once in a while. And these channels, yeah, the giveaways are also a little bit sketchy as well. So the way that it kind of works nowadays, and I also don't know if I necessarily agree with that as well, because you can kind of make an argument for it. But basically, one of the popular things to do to grow your community on Twitter, on YouTube, on whatever, is to do like giveaways, right? And who knows if they actually even give out any of what they say they're going to give out. But basically, it's like, give me fucking more followers, give me more likes, give me more engagement, which helps my social media standing, I guess, and then I'll give you out $1,000 in shitcoin XYZ. It's like, that's not a good sign, man. Yeah. But then again, it's like, they are kind of paying for it. If they are actually giving it out, well, people can do it, but then you attract, who do you attract when you do something like that? You don't attract people who are like in a good financial standing, right? You attract people who are probably desperate, which is fair. Like, I'm not saying that it's like bad to be desperate. It's just like desperate people are easier to probably manipulate, to be fair. So yeah. Anyways, I see some people talking about Crypto. I actually know Crypto in real life. I actually like him as a person, but it's like how do you resolve that? Like, is he a scammer? I mean, I don't know if he's a scammer. He's just promoting like Bybit shill links, and I mean, shit, man, even I have one right here, but I'll tell you straight up, like, you're gonna get fucking wrecked there if you don't have any prior history, if you don't have any prior experience. I mean, some people obviously can make it as well, but I do think that there's a bit of a misnomer with those sorts of people, because they don't make money from you getting liquidated. They will make money if you do get liquidated, but they just make money from you making trades, not necessarily you getting liquidated. So yeah. Well, that's kind of what I figure, Randy, is that over a long enough time period, you'll just burn out those people, right? I mean, people can only get hurt so many times before they just go like, all right, well, seems to me like this is not working. Seems to me like this is not working, right? So, that would be, I would think that that's what's going to happen. Kenneth says, I really enjoy Simp episodes with Jason. Nice, man. I really enjoyed them as well. Yeah, we have no plans to stop. We might lose our sponsorship because we haven't really done the best job of showing them, but you know what? There's always another one, right? There's always another one. Anyways, yeah, well, look, man, like, it is what it is, right? Are we talking about Gray Frodo? I don't. Oh, maybe you're talking to, I don't see a Frodo in here. Maybe I'm just not understanding. So you don't think SBF and CZ go short when retail is long and vice versa? I don't think you understand how markets work. I don't think you understand how these exchanges work. I think they have very bizarre ideas that probably sound right in your head, but you've really not gone through the rigor of actually looking up some very simple things on the internet which are available to you, man. Like, look, Like, I'll tell you when I think that something ridiculous is going on, but no, I don't think that they're doing that. SBF has his Alameda Research Fund his Alameda Research Trading Group, which is basically like a quant firm. So perhaps they are, but they're just, I mean, probably can't do that. Hey, what's up, Frank Idnolls? Good to see you, man. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time. Yeah, we went over CRO earlier. That one's kind of more in like a long-term bouncy area. Hash ribbons failed, right? Yes, yes. And there's a really good question about this in the Discord the other day. Basically, someone said, but Krown, don't you think that like it could still come through? It's like, no. Like once it gets invalidated, it is invalidated. And honestly, man, like I'm just done with fucking stupid ass. I'll just say it, stupid ass on-chain analysis, man. The more and more that I think about it, the more and more I just realize it's certainly got no place in my own analysis, and for the most part, it seems to be a massive distraction. It's just, I mean, look, it always seems to be fucking bullish. The only on-chain guy that I can find that presents an opposite case and an opposite narrative is the guy who does the videos for Glassnode. He seems quite legit. Yeah, he seems quite legit. Let's see. I can't speak towards what Crypto Banter does. I've never spoken with the guys. I don't know them. I can only speculate based off of what I've received, but I have no way of like ever knowing what someone else has done. So yeah. Hey, what's up, Alex Shiva? Good morning to you in the USA. 85% will lose money for trade. It's actually like 80% who lose. And is that the same for the people in the program? There's no way to know that. I have no way of knowing that, man. I don't follow up on people. It's also like not appropriate at all for me to, hey man, could you tell me about your personal finances? Like if people want to tell me that, but then they self-select. So obviously I'm going to have a warped view. I'm going to think that there's probably more successful people than not. But the real thing is that it's not about being in the program. Look, I could give out the program for free and probably it would probably be the same statistics, probably be still like 80% versus 20%. Successful versus unsuccessful. And the reason why that is because there's not any way to ensure equality of effort. And that's the problem, man. Like you can have any fucking program, any fucking program that you want. Like obviously I stand by my programs and everything, but the problem with that is that you cannot ensure that someone will actually take the, hundreds, maybe even thousands of hours to actually go through all of the rigor in order to, actually successfully do it. So yeah, there's no way to actually know that. But yeah, fair enough. Let's see. How do you get into the program? Well, there's links in the description below, but I would suggest not getting into it if you are new. No, I haven't checked him, Ashish. Maybe I'll check him out after this. I really don't try to like check out too many people. I really don't check out too many people who do other analysis just because, not because they're not good. They can be great. They can be amazing, even. But I feel like I want to be kind of isolated in my own analysis so that I don't have any external influences, because I know that when I have more and more external influences, even if they're going to be right, even if they are right, maybe even more so if they're going to be right, it can still like contradict my own analysis and trading style. And my trading style, is not contingent upon their analysis being right or wrong. They might be talking about like a long-term trade, and then I might be just trading like a fucking 15-minute chart. It's a different game. I say, hey, what's up, Sacred? 100% large hog rate in the program, though. That we actually do have proof for. Everyone has to provide a nice hog picture upon joinment, and so yes, we can certainly dial that in and confirm all people in the program have massive hogs, even the girls, especially the girls, actually. How did you get to do some videos for Elio Trades? We're friends, man. I like the guy, man. He actually helped on my channel years ago when I first started in 2018. So yeah, we're actually really, really good friends. So yeah. Who meant to? Hey, what's up, Nuno? Actually, hey, Nuno, I saw that you sent an email and then also you sent me a friend request on Discord. I've actually accepted your friend request on Discord, man. So if you want to chat there, we can do that. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, exactly. So XR Chablu says, I agree with you. I ignored my own bias and listened too much to the Moon Boys. Exactly. So, you can have a trading strategy that, it works for you. And you can also listen to analysis from people that might even be right, but trading strategy versus like analysis, they're two different things, man. They're two different things. So it might, if it gets in the way, then it's best to just ignore and remove these external influences, including my own channel, of which this happens very often in the program. Actually, what people will do, what people will say is like they'll first get into the program, they'll be very excited, they'll follow it like, very, very well. And they'll put in effort for like, let's say 4 to 6 months, maybe even as much as a year. And then after that, they leave. And this is like almost by design now is what I think. They leave, and they leave for typically about 4 to 6 months as well. And during that time that they leave, they just want to remove all external influences, including my own, because I'm probably going to dissuade them because, they probably came to me, they liked my style of analysis, but it doesn't help their trading style. And in order to really down their trading style, they need to isolate essentially. And then once they do that for like 4 to 6 months, then they typically come back and they send me a message, which I've gotten like a million variations of this same goddamn message so many fucking times. Like, hey Krown, I just took a 6-month break from the Discord and from watching your videos, and now I'm trading really, really well. Thanks, man. I'm coming back now, but I just want to dial in my own thing. It's like, dude, I totally understand. I totally fucking understand. I don't think that, look, Killer Bo, maybe I don't do the best job of expressing my own opinions. Maybe I don't do the best job of expressing my own analysis, but I don't think that you're interpreting it properly. So it's like, I'd suggest for yourself, man, it's probably not wise to be watching videos like this, man, because there's some divide between the words and the interpretation, man. It's not working. Alex Becker will help you lose all your money. That's a weird thing though, man, because I saw him put out a tweet or maybe a YouTube video or something where he basically said he just got to like 1 million or 1.5 million subscribers, and he basically said something along the lines of, let this be proof that you don't need to be right on the markets in order to get a big following. And it's like, yeah. So what do people tune into content for that, or what do people tune into content like that for? Is a good question. I mean, I guess they like it's entertainment. It's valuable in that way, perhaps. Skip analysis and go look at on-chain metrics. Yeah, wouldn't suggest that. You should probably do your own analysis. Any take on Tesla earnings tomorrow as it pertains to Bitcoin? They have already sold once. As it pertains to Bitcoin, no way for me to know that. Earnings reports are also something that I would always take off my positions for the day in advance and not trade until after the earnings. There's just no way to know. No way to know. Okay, so he plays like a character is what you're saying. I'm actually not too familiar with him as a creator. I just have seen him around Twitter. I know that he's humongous and quite popular. So it sounds like he's like in entertainment, and he kind of knows that he's not like trying to be right. So fair enough. That's his game. He's a master marketer, but funny. Fair enough. How great did Elon time that sell? Yeah, it's funnily enough about that, huh? Eventually, we have to all learn our own technical analysis, says Gohan's mom. I'd even take that a step further. It's not that you need to learn your own technical analysis. You need to learn your own trading style is what you need to learn. Technical analysis is pretty consistent amongst... it's pretty consistent. I mean, it's the way that you apply that is going to be usually different. I think probably should shut off the stream. Very amused how it all comes together. Yeah, I mean that's part of the fun, isn't it? Oh yeah, Altcoin Sarah. Yeah, I remember that name. Wow. He's a stiffler of crypto. Fair enough. Maybe I need to go check out some of his videos. Will they be a doggy remix? And last time I put it on, I got a copyright from YouTube. Hey, all good, fellas. All right, I think it's time for me to log off here. I've just been talking shit for a while now. Basically, crux of the message is today. Easier to wait for the resolution of the event coming in later. If I'm just looking at Bitcoin, we do have a bit of a potential swing failure pattern set up here. Again, 4-hour closure below about 46,750 would do it for me, or an hourly below about 36 or so would do it for me with another retest of the current lows implied. That would also initiate hidden bearish divergence right here. I think the more confirming, or maybe not confirming, but interesting thing that we saw today was many of the altcoins were kind of setting up for that. Not necessarily Bitcoin right here. It's technically did break out of the short-term time frame range, but you're not seeing the move that you'd want to see from that. Again, it would have been a lot easier to have seen this sort of a move after this event that's coming in later today. So I do think that it's probably going to be, at least for myself, more relevant to be waiting for that and then take the easier trade after that. Anyways, I'm going to be signing off now. It's going to be, it's been an absolutely lovely pleasure to be speaking with you this morning. Be signing off and back on tomorrow. Take care and stay safe. And until next time.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it,